Hello, everyone. Hello. We are in the middle of our introduction to the Sefer Chafetz Chaim, and we're really having a general introduction to the writings of the Chafetz Chaim. And we're in the middle of Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky's fascinating development of his yesod called Toras Hagolus, the Torah of how to survive, the special Torah of how to survive when you're in Golus, when you're in the outside world. And just to review briefly, because we're going to be building on what we said last week and continuing, Rabbi Yaakov develops the idea, the Torah stays the same, the Torah is perfect, but the curriculum is going to change based on the student body, and based on, there might be different emphases, based on who who the student body is. And Rabbi Yaakov develops, that was the difference between the yeshiva that Avram and Yitzchak had versus the yeshiva of Shem ve'Ever. In Shem ve'Ever, they were the survivors from the Dor HaMabul. They developed, well, we'll see, they got it from somewhere, but they used and applied Toras Hagolus. And Yaakov Avinu, when he was heading to Lavan's house, needed the Toras Hagolus of Shem ve'Ever. Avram and Yitzchak, they had an empire, they had a yeshiva, totally cut off from the outside world, and they learned regular, ordinary Torah without a special emphasis of how to survive when you're involved in the outside world and interconnected with the outside world. Because when you came to Avram and Yitzchak's yeshiva, you were cut off from the outside world. Your own little, you had your own their own empire, like a big yeshiva outside the city. Oh, so that was Toras Hagolus. It went from Shem ve'Ever down to Yaakov, and then we developed how it went from Yaakov. He taught it to Yosef. Yaakov understood that somehow that Yosef would be the one who would lead Am Yisrael into Golus. He might be there by himself. I explained, quoting from Yaakov Kamenetsky through his son, that Rachel was the primary wife. That's what the Medrash says. Akara is Ikar, the primary wife. And therefore Yaakov assumed and understood that the Mesorah and the heading down to Mitzrayim or heading into Golus would go through the children of Rachel. And therefore he taught Yosef Toras Hagolus. Now, there's a question which people have raised about this topic of Toras Hagolus. I've received this question several times, which is, Avram Avinu also, l'chora, should have, at first glance, he should have developed Toras Hagolus. Avram Avinu was a survivor by himself against the whole outside world. He was the only person who believed in Hashem, and he smashed the idols. So, what's the idea exactly that Avram, apparently in his yeshiva, the Rabbi Yaakov develops, did not apply and use and develop Toras Hagolus, but while Shem ve'Ever did? So the answer is that Avram Avinu, if you read the Rambam at the beginning of Hilchos Avodah Zarah, it's very interesting. The Rambam describes Avram Avinu's career and what he did in his normal day. He spread monotheism from town to town, from city to city, and the Rambam describes that Avram was very successful. Basically wherever he went, he transformed everyone around him. And suddenly, and wherever he went, he had dozens and hundreds. The Rambam says that Avram Avinu had tens of thousands of followers. The Torah describes, that the Goyim described Avram, Nasi Elokim Ata B'Socheinu. He was like a leader. Avram Avinu was so successful in spreading monotheism, in his cube in spreading monotheism, that he, it was almost like an immediate transformation. And then he had his big yeshiva, and you came to learn an Avram yeshiva with his empire of tens of thousands of followers. In contrast to that, you don't find any sources that Shem ve'Ever's yeshiva developed and expanded, and they had an empire. Just the opposite. If you look over there in the Rambam, at the beginning of Hilchos Avodah Zarah, if you look in the Mefarshim, there's a Kesef Mishnah, and the other Mefarshim, they describe that Shem ve'Ever's yeshiva didn't spread, they didn't have so many Talmidim, and that's the impression one gets. So, although Avram Avinu, in his own personal life, in a sense, applied Toras Hagolus just for his own survival, but once he was so quickly successful in spreading Hashem's name, read the Rambam there in Hilchos Avodah Zarah, transformed everyone around him, then he developed this yeshiva, this empire, and that's Rabbi Yaakov's idea that the yeshiva of Avram and Yitzchak, they didn't use Toras Hagolus, but Dafka, the yeshiva of Shem ve'Ever, they did. Okay, so that's what we've seen till now. Toras Hagolus from Shem ve'Ever down to Yaakov, down to Yosef. Okay, so now let's go further. Rav Yaakov has a vort here, a beautiful vort. It's on page 3 of the source sheets. It's source number 5. It's where the Torah describes when Yaakov finds out, here he's called Yisrael, that Yosef is still alive. So the pasuk there reads in Perek Mem Hey pasuk Kaf Ches, Vayomer Yisrael Rav Od Yosef Benichai. And Yaakov says, Rav, Yosef is still alive. The word Rav is very striking. It's like, how does it fit in the flow of the psukim? So the Mefarshim discuss, what does it mean? A lot. The word Rav means a lot, harbe, many. How does it fit in the flow of the pasuk? Rav, Od Yosef Benichai. So the Mefarshim discuss. So if Yaakov quotes a very interesting medrash here, it's a medrash from Bereishis Rabbah,